Hi. So for this video, I want to discuss how nothing is black or white. But before I do that, I'm going to do a little sound check. It's been a minute since I showed my face because I've been on vacation and I'm traveling again in a couple days. So I've been like doing compilations of things that I feel like will help level us up and create our best life. And by my surprise, some of the videos went viral. So if you'd like to check those videos out, I'm just uploading whenever I feel like it, like multiple times a week lately, because I'm really passionate about what I'm sharing. And it kind of sparked this topic because I had someone in the comments like say that I was shallow for caring about my looks. And I thought about it and I was like, you know what? There are some people who are shallow who only care about their looks. And then it just had me think, like, where does this all stem from? Like, why do people, because the woman who commented that, it was like hard for her to conceptualize that there are people that can care about their looks and simultaneously also have depth in character, because shallow means you have no depth in character. Why is it that some people can't conceptualize that? And it made me think, like, well, on TV, things are black and white. On TV, it is one thing or the other. People are portrayed usually with stereotypes, and people think that that's all there is. You know, usually the beautiful young girl is shallow. She's cold. She's a cheater. I'm actually watching Desperate Housewives. If you watch that show, comment below who's your favorite character. I don't even think I can pick a favorite character because I relate to kind of relate to most of them in different ways. And Evelyn, I think is her name. Eva Longoria plays her, and she's like portrayed as someone who just cares about her looks and shopping. Okay, the audio's working. And shopping, and she cheats on her partners and stuff. And I was looking at like a lot of beautiful people and how they're portrayed on TV, and it's a pattern, but that's not every beautiful woman. And I noticed that when it comes to beautiful women, a lot of people will just assume that they're stupid. The women who are like doing the most with their outfits, and Pepsi agrees. She's like, yeah. Usually those who like sit down, yeah. Relax, take a chill pill, daddy chill, like that moves clip, daddy chill. Freaking a lot of beautiful women are smart as hell. They're intellectual. They have depth, but because they're so pretty, people assume that they're stupid and they're shallow. And there are some stupid and shallow people that only care about vanity, but not all of us do. And this is what sparked up this topic of how nothing is black and white. Everything has a spectrum of things. No one is good or bad. We all have good and bad in us. We all have a spectrum of things. Another example of this, I know a lot of people, especially when I like started my level up journey, not even just my level up journey, but when I started formulating boundaries and standards, a lot of people thought that was selfish. But then it goes back to the spectrums. There's good selfish, and then there's Pepsi agrees. She's like, yeah, sit down. There's good selfish, and then there's bad selfish. And it all depends on who's perceiving it. What's good for you, what is the best decision for you, may be selfish and bad in someone else's eyes. But in your eyes, if you're doing something that benefits you greatly and it doesn't harm anyone, what part of the spectrum does that fall under? Is being selfish as big of an insult as people are saying? Because it comes in spectrums. Just because someone makes a selfish decision doesn't mean that they're selfish on a negative aspect, on a negative spectrum of being selfish. Just because someone cares about their looks doesn't mean that they're vain and that they're shallow. It could just mean that they accept the fact that most people are visual creatures and they hone in on that. I am a woman of aesthetics. I've always been a woman of aesthetics. When I was little, I used to love dress up games. GoGirls.com was my thing. You know what I mean? We need to be friends, because that was my go-to freaking website as a kid. I'd get like I think I got like an hour every weekend on a computer. I'd go to DisneyChannel.com, NickJr.com, PixieHollow.com, PopTropica, and I love girl go games. Like, I love doing their makeup. I love doing their hair. I love doing their outfits and stuff. So to me, looking my best is like very soothing, and it's unlocking. It's like nurturing my inner child. And I enjoy the process of getting ready, and I do it for myself. The way people react to the way I look is a bonus that I've acknowledged and I'm not in denial of. And some people see that and be like, oh, that's vain. All she cares about is her looks. Wow, she has no depth. But it's like, says who? Says what TV portrays? Says what media portrays? There's a spectrum. Just because it's pushed that it's black and white doesn't mean it's black and white. And I think it's important to really dissect certain insults and see what point of the spectrum you fall under when people use those insults or judge upon certain character traits. Because we all have a spectrum of things. We all have a dark side. We all have a good side, some more than others. And that's something that took me a while to understand. It's like, and understanding that makes things even more complicated, because it's like, damn, I want to hate that person, but there is still good in that person. But they do all these bad things, and that just comes out to what you personally want in your life. But everything has a spectrum, and I think it's important to stop labeling and calling people names because it doesn't align with who you are, and dissect more of what they are. Like, okay, they're selfish, but under what spectrum? Okay, they're what is it called? I know a lot of people also will be like, if you love yourself, there's some people that I see on TikTok, they're like showing off their body and they're embracing their body because they spent so much work to lose the weight, to feel hot, to feel like they can rock the bathing suit. You can rock a bathing suit any size, but there are some people who've been fat all their lives. They finally lose the weight, and now they're confident and they're showing off their body because they're happy with the results that they've worked hard for. And there'll be people in the comments like, you're so shallow, you're so vain, like, you're so conceited, get a life. But it's like, with that particular person, is that conceitedness, or is that just someone embracing their body and loving their body and, you know, really celebrating their body? I think anything can be taken as an insult. So really dissect when people insult you, like their perception and where is it coming from? Because a lot of people don't dissect that. A lot of people don't dissect the things we're indoctrinated to believe through TV. Like, I've noticed, and I've read this in, what is it? Get Rich Lucky Bitch, I think, is what brought it to light to me. Was like another thing that's portrayed in TV. Another thing that's portrayed in TV is rich people. You ever notice how in a lot of movies and shows, the rich parents never present? The rich girl is a mean girl. She's a bitch. She's rude. She's conceited. And that stigma, that narrative is conditioned in us. So some people literally avoid being rich. They hate the rich. They don't even like money because they've been taught not to like money because of this narrative that they've been taught that is not necessarily true. But it can apply to some people, but just not everyone. You know, a lot of the negative emotions we have towards things were taught to us as children. There's a lot of things that we didn't judge until we were taught to judge certain things, until we were told that certain things were bad. So we were told, oh, wearing makeup makes you vain, and don't look in the mirror too much. You're conceited. And God forbid you take like a body shot like of your bathing suit. You're a whore. Like, Jesus Christ, calm down. Let's hold it up. Hold up. You know, there's spectrums to everything. And I feel called to say, I have this inside joke with my friend where I'm always saying, I feel called to do this. And she's been saying like, I feel called to do this too. And it's just really fun. Listen to your calling, pretty much like your intuition and everything. But I feel called to say, like, if you feel like you are a bad person, ask yourself what spectrum of that are you? Like, what percentage of bad are you? What percentage of good are you? And really dissect. And let's steer away from shaming the dark side of you and the bad side of you. And let's work towards embracing it and understanding it so we can better monitor it and use it for good versus bad. Because if you are suppressing your dark side, I was actually just reading a passage. I just took me and Pepsi went on a Barnes and Noble date. And I just took a picture of this passage in The Daily Laws of Power, I think is what the book is called, by Robert Greene. I know some people are iffy about Robert Greene books, but to me, knowledge is like a knife. If it's dangerous, like people could use it for bad or you can use it for good. Just because someone is learning knowledge that can be used for bad doesn't mean that they are a bad person. You could be using that to protect yourself from bad people. So that's where I come from when it comes to like learning about psychology and stuff. It's to spot and really know how to like maneuver manipulators. But I was reading, let me see, I think I have it in my phone. And I was like, and it goes like, mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. You know what's funny? Every time I like find a passage, ironically, I'll end up live streaming, and the thing that I read relates to the live stream, and I'll feel called to like open a book at a certain place. So you got to listen to your callings because you never know how they can be purposeful. Where is that? Mm-hmm. I think I posted it just a couple minutes ago on TikTok. If you guys don't follow my TikTok, it's in my description, the YouTube princess. Okay, so this is for October 14th. I don't know what made me feel called to look at that date. I just opened it and opened to this, and it's this: confront your dark side. Our whole being is nothing but a fight against the dark forces within ourselves. To live is to war with trolls in heart and soul. To write is to sit in judgment on oneself. You have crafted a public persona that accentuates your strengths and conceals your weaknesses. You have repressed the less socially acceptable traits you naturally possessed as a child. You have become terribly nice and pleasant, and you have a dark side, one that you are loath to admit or examine. It contains your deepest insecurities, your secret desires to hurt people. I don't know about that one, but I guess that applies to some people. Even those close to you, your fantasies of revenge, your suspicions about others, your hunger for more attention and power. This dark side haunts your dreams. It leaks out in moments of inexplicable depression, unusual anxiety, touchy moods, sudden neediness, and suspicious thoughts. It comes out in offhand comments you later regret, and sometimes it even leads to destructive behavior. You will tend to blame circumstances or other people for these moods and behavior, but they keep reoccurring because you are unaware of their source. Depression and anxiety come from not being your complete self, from always playing a role. It requires great energy to keep this dark side at bay, but at times, unpleasant behavior leaks out as a way to release the inner tension. And I guess the daily law of that passage is recognize and examine the dark side of your character. Once subjected to conscious scrutiny, it loses its destructive power. So instead of suppressing your negative emotions, instead of being in denial of your negative emotions and how you feel because it's bad, address them. And then you can actually, you're in a better place when you do that, because if you're suppressing it, it'll come out randomly. You will accidentally offend someone, say something rude, do something bad, throw someone off guard because eventually those emotions and those intentions you have will come out. But instead of you choosing to let them out, choosing to like look at them and examine them, it'll come out randomly and other people will see them and you won't even know how to explain them. You'll still be in denial of them and it'll destroy your relationships and your reputation because you're not aware of a part of yourself that slips out because you're in denial of it. And let these cars pass. City life. City life. And I think it's important to acknowledge your spectrums to things because through realizing that, you feel less bad about having certain feelings. There's spectrums of envy. There's spectrums of being an asshole. There's spectrums of being a bitch. There's spectrums of being shallow. There's spectrums of being a narcissist. There's spectrums of being selfish. There's spectrums of being conceited. It's just a matter of examining that spectrum and changing it if it needs to be changed. We all have an aspect of those traits. Denying something that we all innately have, like denying your bad traits, will only lead to more bad. The truth hurts, but it sets you free. It doesn't make you a bad person for doing bad things. It doesn't make you, well, I guess it depends on what you do, like how much bad you do, but I think it's important to eliminate the shame in certain words because there's spectrums of certain things. And I remember when I first started looking my best, I could sense that some people felt like I was shallow because I would put that extra effort in and that would anger some people. Because when I go out, I get compliments, a lot of compliments. Like it's, what is in my hair? Like it's as, ooh. It's as if I'm a celebrity. Like when I go out, people will stare at me. And it's not like I'm like doing extra effort. Like I'm like putting on like something that's flashy. It's just a little blush, like a little polish, just a shirt that compliments me, a color that compliments me, nothing too crazy. Maybe a little bit of something that accentuates my natural like body, like something that supports my big boobs versus hides them, because a lot of outfits, a lot of shirts that are meant to hide your boobs, when you're a big chested woman, it makes your boobs look bigger. So it's like me caring about those little details. I could tell some people were just looking at me like she's like doing too much, but it's like, says who? Like who's to say that I am not also putting in just as much work towards my intelligence and towards my healing, towards my spirituality. Just because I'm putting efforts towards my looks doesn't mean that I have no depth. That is a stereotype that has been pushed on TV. And a lot of people don't question the things that we're indoctrinated to believe, and they'll run with it. And it's not true all the time. You look at a pretty girl and you're just like, oh, she's bad news. Oh, she's trouble. She looks like a player. She's a whore. Just look at her makeup. She's definitely a whore. She could definitely screw all these guys. Like, says who? Like, where are you getting this information from? I know so many beautiful women who are celibate and they look like they could definitely not be celibate, but looks are deceiving and looks are not everything. Just like money is not everything. I had like a video go viral about money being a factor in relationships. It was like a video on like a bunch of people reacting to Tyler Perry making his statement about how like if a man wants to pay just a light bill, let him. Oh my God, there's like a hair in my eye. Arg. And there was a lot of guys in the comments that took that information and was just like, y'all women don't care about anything but money. And it's like, nowhere in any of the videos did anyone say that's all we care about. Just because someone cares about money doesn't mean that's all you care about. This is another assumption. This is another stereotype, and it needs to be analyzed. There's a spectrum. Yes, there are women who only care about money, but just because there are women who factor in what a man can contribute financially doesn't mean she's a gold digger. It doesn't mean all she cares about is money. That's extremely ignorant to not dissect that spectrum. And it just annoyed me this week because I've gotten a lot of like ignorant comments that aren't looking at the whole entirety of the picture, that are just generalizing all women, that are generalizing all men, that are like generalizing all these things that does not apply to everyone. So that's my little TED talk. Let me know what you think about this topic in the comments. Let me know, what spectrums of things are you dissecting? I feel like, me personally, this is a very spontaneous live stream because I was just agitated at the ignorance of some people, and that I was called shallow for caring about my looks. And let me let these cars pass again. The city life ain't easy. It's not easy on these streets being a city girl. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Another thing that someone said that I've heard a lot is like, there aren't any traditional women. Women aren't traditional anymore. Like, says who? Like, there are traditional women. There are people who aren't anymore, but there are definitely traditional women out there. The question is, are you attracting traditional women? There are traditional men out there, but are you attracting traditional men? I don't want to say you are what you attract, but the way you present yourself in the world does attract certain things, which is why I did the video on like looking your best, looking presentable, because that attracts a lot more better treatment and people and opportunities. And it's not fair, but it is the truth. I've experienced it. I've seen it. And many other people have experienced it and seen it. And it's just the way it is. And I don't think it's right, but it is the way it is. Pepsi, chill. So, Pepsi, chill. Daddy, chill. Daddy, chill. Yeah, tell them why you're mad. You want to tell them why you're mad? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Hey, little snuggly wuggly. Tell them why you're mad, Pepsi. Tell them why you're mad. Well, that's pretty much all I have to say. Oh yeah, the thing that. Sit down. She's crazy. All the traits that I have, I'm dissecting the spectrums of where I fall on. And whenever I get an insult, insinuation, or a comment, I always like think to myself, where is this coming from? Is this true? How much is this true? Is this something I need to work on? And that's all that matters, is reflecting and looking inwardly. You cannot go wrong with that. Because through that, you evolve and you become better. And sometimes it stings at first to be told something, but sometimes it's good that you're being told something because it helps you change into better if you're willing to examine those things that, those traits that you may be unaware of. And then sometimes you get comments and you get freaking side-eyed because people just are ignorant and they have these preconceived notions of who you are because of what they've been indoctrinated to believe you are because of certain things, when you're not even that way. Like Marilyn Monroe, a beautiful, like an icon of beauty. She was so intelligent, extremely intelligent, but we all know her. A lot of people affiliate her with how beautiful she was. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. And it's unfortunate. And it needs to be dissected. I feel like it shouldn't be an automatic thing you think. Like, oh, she's pretty. And she's like, she cares about her looks. She must be dumb. Like, what? Like, that woman could be the most intelligent woman ever and still put effort towards her looks. Like, it doesn't have to be one or the other. You can do both. Okay, I'm gonna dip. Let me know if you have any requests for content you'd like me to create. I am traveling again this weekend, so I'm gonna keep posting compilations. They're doing pretty well, but some of the comments are just so out of pocket. In the first video that went viral, I was like going at it with the people in the comments because, you know, engagement, you got to reach that, keep that engagement up. But it's just some people just keep going back and forth. Like, they just won't shut up. Like, there's this guy that's spamming my comments and he's just like spamming everyone. Like, y'all hoes, woman don't deserve this. Be independent. You guys don't deserve. It's just like, to each its own, you know? Let the girlies be girlies. If we want to be Delulu, let us be Delulu. And for some of us, it's not Delulu to want a good man that provides. For some of us, we're doing the work on ourselves to deserve a man that's working on himself, you know? But then there's people who aren't doing work on themselves and they want the world. And it's like, to each its own. There's spectrums to every single person. Not everything applies to everyone. And I just felt the need to say that because I'm tired of people just assuming like, oh, you do this, so you're that. You made a selfish decision, so you're selfish. Like, calm down. Dissect. And I will see you in the next video. Make sure to like this live stream if you enjoyed this topic and comment below your opinion on spectrums, how nothing is black and white. Nothing.